Welcome everybody to our Thursday night team call. I am excited as always to talk to you guys, but I'm really excited because I can't take any credit for anything that I'm about to share with you, but I also did not write down the girl's name from the video that I watched, so no one is getting credit for this information because I don't remember. But her video was on the Beachbody Champions Facebook page, and I had saved it a while ago. And every once in a while when I'm looking for some like business, personal development, I go back in my saved videos to see what kind of stuff I caught my eye at one point or another. And this one was called Struggle Bus to 5-Star Diamond. So I thought, oh, Struggle Bus is applicable to me, so I will watch this. And it blew my mind. So I'm gonna go through. Do not feel the need to write these down, but if one of them sticks out to you, you can jot it down. There's 10 total, which I didn't know when I started watching it, and she just kind of like kept going. So they are things that she recognized that she did over a year's time to help her get off the struggle bus in her life, in her business, in her relationships, like in all areas of life. And she said that a lot of them are applicable, to both business and life. So there are 10 tips, I guess you could say. And if anyone has any comments as we go, please feel free to interrupt and add in some more knowledge, because again, I can't really take a lot of credit for anything I'm about to share with you, but I really found it valuable and wanted to share it with you guys. Okay, so the whole premise of this video she made was based off of, I think, a sermon that her pastor was doing about a marriage or, being married and talking about divorce. And she said when she was listening to this sermon, she had this epiphany that this is related to her business, because you should treat your business like a marriage, because you're in a relationship with it and need to, foster it and help it grow and show up and, things like that. So that's where this is all kind of stemming from. And the very first thing she said, this is technically tip number 10, but I'm just going to tell you at the beginning anyway, because maybe it'll help everything will make more sense. But she said that you have to treat your business like a marriage and stop dangling divorce in the face of your business. And you have to say divorce is not an option. If you want your marriage to succeed, you can't always talk about getting divorced when there's a problem. In your business, if you want it to succeed, you can't always think about quitting when it gets hard, because then you're going to give yourself an out, just like in a marriage. So she said that's where she made the connection. So here are the 10 things. I will try not to go too fast. Number 1 is own your attitude. She said you can walk into an amazing opportunity with a crappy attitude and gain nothing. So someone could give you, tickets to your favorite fill in the blank band, sports team, whatever, movie, whatever it is. Someone could give you tickets, free tickets to your favorite thing. But if you had a crappy day or you go in with a crappy attitude, you won't have a good experience. And vice versa. You could go into a seemingly crappy situation with a positive attitude and actually learn something. So tip number 1 was own your attitude. Recognize that you're in charge of that, regardless of the things that go on around you. And I think there's a quote that says, you're not in control of the things that happen to you, but you're in control of the way you respond, or something like that. So that kind of goes along with own your attitude. And number 2 is show up every day. That's pretty straightforward and seems pretty obvious. But she said, especially when you feel like no one is watching you. And that's when you need to show up. And she related this to your workouts. I know that Julie and Anna, you guys work out at a gym. So there's other people there. So they, see you when you're doing your workout. But Jen and I, we work out at home and no one is around or witnessing it happen most of the time. And that's when it's important to show up, not just when other people are watching what you're doing. So she said in your business, you might feel like you are the only person showing up in your team page, or you're the only person showing up on your
Kelsey,
calls.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but you're breaking up on my end here. Is she breaking up on your guys too? Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll try my
So
best.
last we heard was you and Jen, Anna and I work out at the gym. You and Jen work out at home.
Oh, okay. So point being, people can see you at the gym working out. People can't see you at home. Like no one's sitting on your couch watching you work out. You have to show up, especially when nobody's watching. You're not just going to magically get results. The same as in your business. You have to show up when you're the only person in your team page, or you're the only person hitting Success Club, or you're the only person, whatever, fill in the blank. You have to show up on those days, because if you don't, that's telling your business that you don't care and that you're only going to show up when other people are showing up. And that's not fair to your business. Number 3, if I break up again, someone just say something. Number 3 is be patient and trust the process. Then she said, but this doesn't mean do nothing. She said, it doesn't mean just open your business center and then think, well, hope everyone comes to me today. I'm just going to trust the process. She's like, that's not the process. You know what you have to do. So you have to show up and put in the work and trust that over time, you will be successful. And she said, putting in that consistent work is what's important. Again, similar to your workouts. You can't just pay a trainer and then never show up to your training sessions and hope that just magically by paying your trainer, you're going to get fit. Like that's not how it works. You have to show up and put the work in. Similarly, she said, to your fitness program, you're not going to be a coach for 1 month and all of a sudden be this ultimately successful person. Even 5 years or 10 years, she said, if you don't show up, you're not going to see what you want. Again, similar to your fitness. If you don't show up consistently, you're just going to be going like this, just like in your business, which that made a lot of sense to me because my fitness used to very much be a roller coaster. Anyone have anything to add so far or comments on 1, 2, or 3? Otherwise, I can just, keep rolling. No? Okay. Roll it is. Number 4. This one was pretty straightforward. She just said, show up and get on calls, like team calls. She said, whether it's your team call or the national wake-up call or whatever it is, show up and get on those calls or watch them back, go in your back office, watch the trainings. She said, there's wisdom there, and that's why their national wake-up call exists. That's why all the trainings that we have in our online office exist, because there's wisdom there. And she said, in her situation, and I didn't write it down, she said she was being immature and had the attitude of, well, I don't need to do that stuff because, I'm smart enough to figure it out on my own. Okay, maybe true. She's like, but neglecting somebody's wisdom intentionally is immature. Like that's like a teenager saying like, you don't have to tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. Like she said, that's what you're doing. If you're not actively learning and seeking out, experience from other coaches. Number 5, personal development. She kept coming back to that. And she said, and this rang true for me. She's like, I neglected personal development for a long time in my business. I thought, yep. She said it helps you grow as a person, and you can't grow a business if you're not growing as a person, which I'd never really thought about before, but it's very true. How do you expect your business to grow if you're staying the same? Number 6, Stop comparing yourself to other people, particularly other coaches. She didn't go so far as to say like delete or unfollow other coaches, but she said you can't compare yourself to somebody, especially when you're not putting in the same work ethic that they are. You know, you can't look at somebody who, you know, is in the top 200 of the company and think, oh, I just have to do everything that they do. Like my posts need to look like theirs, or my stories need to look like theirs, or I need to recruit as many coaches as they do. You can't look at what they're doing and compare yourself when you're not putting in equal work. So she said that you can't run forward if you're looking to the side. So it's very difficult for you to win a race if your head is constantly turning side to side because you're putting your energy instead of being right in front of you. Which, after going to the Derby, I thought about that. Or not the Derby. We went to the track in Kentucky. And yeah, oh my gosh, jockeys never look side to side. They and their horse are just like motoring. And if you look side to side, you're going to get, you know, off track. Number 7. This goes along with number 6. So she said, you know, number 6, stop comparing yourself to others. And number 7 is be yourself because everyone else is already taken. So when you're following all these other, you know, coaches or watching what they're doing, you may find yourself starting to, you know, overanalyze what you're doing because it doesn't look like what they're doing. But you're not that person. You are your own person. You speak in your own voice. You have your own slang. You have your own tendencies. You have your own, you know, emojis that you use or whatever. It's not going to sound like you if you're taking it directly from somebody else. And you want to attract your tribe. You don't want to attract somebody else's tribe because you won't get along with them. You won't relate with them. You won't have anything in common. If you're finding people that not belong to somebody else, but you don't fit in. You feel like you don't fit in with the people that you're bringing on, then that's a problem. Number 8. Okay, this is a little lengthy, and I don't remember if this is exactly what she said, but it's what I wrote down. Your coach journey and your health and fitness journey are connected, but separate. That's kind of wordy. So what she said was, don't let things that go wrong in your business derail you from your fitness journey, because your health and fitness journey is why you became a coach in the first place, or at least part of the reason why. You're trying to work on yourself. You're trying to become a better version and pay it forward and help other people. But if you're so distracted by things not going exactly the way you want in your business that it derails you from your health and fitness journey, now you can't help anybody because you're not working on yourself. So although they are two separate entities, they are connected because one should positively affect the other. Being on a solid health and fitness journey doesn't have to be perfect, but it's consistent and you're showing up and you're working on yourself. That translates to your business. But she said, you can't let inactive coaches or people that submit returns or cancellations, you can't let that stuff derail you from your journey because their journey is not yours. And just because they weren't happy with something doesn't mean that has to negatively impact, you know, your journey. Does that make sense? I don't think I wrote that one down correctly. Okay, there's 2 more. Number 9. This is a question. Are you your best coach? So think about if you had just like the best coach ever on your team. The best coach. Are you emulating what you want that to look like to your team? So she said, are you showing up daily? Are you hitting Success Club every month? Are you learning and growing and leading? If that's the kind of coaches that you want on your team, that's the kind of coach you have to be. She said for a long time, she was just kind of coasting along. And I was like, oh, because, and I texted Jen the other day, I was so mad because I worked so hard, busted my freaking butt in April and missed Success Club. And I was like, 11:30, sent this girl her share cart. She's like, yep, I'm going to do it. I'm like, you're amazing. You're the best ever. She's like, no, you're the best ever. Thank you for helping me. And then, you know, in share cart where it's like sent, viewed, purchased, it just sat in the viewed. And I could have shit a brick. I was like, come on. Like, and I was so mad. I'm like, but that's on me. Like, if I'm not consistently putting in the work at the beginning of the month, why in the heck do I expect it to just magically happen for me at 11:30 p.m. on the last day of the month? Like, that's stupid. So this really rang true with me when she was saying that. She's like, if you're not learning from those mistakes and if you're not growing as a leader, how do you expect your coaches to learn and grow from their mistakes? And if you're not making any mistakes, then you're probably not working hard enough. Because if you're working hard enough, you should be making mistakes and learning from them and teaching your team, which also makes sense. Number 10, we already did this one. Get divorce off the table, was what she said. Don't convince yourself it won't work. Remind yourself why it is worth every ounce of effort. I'm going to say it again. Don't convince yourself it won't work. Remind yourself why it is worth every ounce of effort. And again, this relates directly to your fitness journey as well. You can't start a program and a week and a half in, 10 days in, say, well, I haven't lost any weight. I don't feel any different. I'm just really sore. I guess this isn't going to work for me. You know, don't convince yourself it won't work. Remind yourself why it's worth the effort to see it to fruition. Again, same in your business. So I have decided that I'm going to start, because I don't do it as consistently as I should, writing my positive affirmations in a notebook every morning to remind myself why it's worth it to show up, you know, for my business. So, those were the 10 things. I don't know if anyone related to those, but I felt like she was talking directly to me in this video that I saved from like 2.5 months ago. And again, I don't remember her name, but I'm going to look it up and I will put in the comment when I post this video so everyone knows. Anything to add? Any comments? That was just a lot of me sharing. What? I can't hear you, Jen.
No, I know. I'm like, well, Julie usually makes a comment. She's not doing it. So then I thought I would unmute myself. No, I thought that was really good. And I apologize. I'm just so tired. I didn't have any energy to write anything down, but I'm going to go back and listen because there were a couple that points that you made that I was like, ooh, I just like how it was worded. You know, sometimes it's like the same thing you hear, but when it's worded slightly different, you're like, oh, okay, I can work with that. That makes sense. So I thought it was really good.
I do have. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go, girls.
I do have a comment, and I was just trying to think about how to word it. When you were talking about like following other coaches that are like top in the business, like that is so me, and that kind of opened my eyes because I'm like, these people do this full time. Like this is all they do all day long. And I'm constantly like comparing myself to them. And I'm like, how did they get 15 new coaches this month? And I only got one, like, because they're working 15 times more in this business than I am. You know, like they're probably putting in 15 hours a day or at least 10 hours a day. And I'm putting in 1 or 2. So like I need to either unfollow or just like stop looking at their stories and stuff, because sometimes it's just like, I'm like, wow, I really could be doing better at this. But at the same time, I work a full-time job. So really I don't have as much time as they do to, you know, be as good as them at this, because I could be as good as them at this if I quit my full-time job, which I'm not planning on doing. So So yeah, that was a really good point, because now I've just got to like kind of reassess what I do every time I pick my phone up every morning, and whose accounts I follow. Because sometimes you can see one person's story and it just changes your mindset. Like, I'm not good enough because that person got 15 coaches this month and I got one. And then boom, like my day's ruined. So that was a good point. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I used to be all about like following a couple in particular, because I'm like, man, success leaves clues. I'm going to follow these people and just like watch what they do. And I wasted so much time that I could have spent like connecting with other people that are actually like worthwhile. I mean, I want to connect with people that I want to be friends with, and I want them on our team, and I want to like hang out with them in real life. Like, these are the people that I need to be fostering relationships with, not just being a fly on somebody else's Instagram wall that isn't helping my business at all. So I unfollowed all of them. So anytime somebody's like, oh, did you see what? I'm like, no, I didn't. I have no idea what's going on in their baby's life. Like, I don't know, anything about that. So
yeah. And another thing that I think would be a good thing to do, and I was doing it in the beginning of the business, and then somehow I got caught back up in the Instagram of everyone. But when I find and I should do this more often, because I was doing that in the beginning. I was like finding people on Instagram that were successful with the business, and then looking and like Googling their name in Apple Podcasts to see if they had a podcast on Beachbody, like one of the morning wake up calls, to see if there was any like morning wake up call with so-and-so. And then that way I can hear exactly what they did with the business, or at least what they are willing to share that they did with the business. And I don't have to sit and watch them every single day on Instagram to figure out what they did, because they already recorded a podcast about it. So like there's a few people like Amy Rada, and like and Amy Silverman, like those people. I found them on Instagram. I was following them all the time. And then I was like, let me just look them up on Apple Podcasts instead and see what they said, instead of like watching them every single day.
And top coaches are invited to do a national wake up call every year. So for those, some of them like that have been top coaches for a long time, or in the top 10 of the business, they probably have 2 or 3. So you can, find them that way as well.
I was listening to one the other day, because I had a long drive, so I listened to a bunch of podcasts that I missed. And there was one wake up call of this one girl who's been coaching for like 1.5 years or whatever. And she sends out 62 invites a day. Like my head was at like mind blown emoji. I was like, no way do I have time to, not just invite 62 people a day, but then you have to follow up on all of those people too, and then she said her team was doing like 100 invite a day challenge. And I'm like, man, I don't think I could hang. Like, that would be really tough, So sometimes people look like they're just having all the success on the surface, but then you listen to their podcast and they're really doing a lot behind the scenes to have that success that you see on the surface.
Definitely. So. I remember listening to that one too. I think I re-listened to the podcast, and she said she didn't know any different.
Yeah.
Her coach was just like, this is what we do. So she was like, okay, I'm on board, and just did that. And yeah, so it's crazy. Perspective is a real thing.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other comments about again, I can't take credit for those 10, things, but I did want to throw this out there to you guys and anyone who's watching the recording of something that I want to gear up and do in May. And it's not a requirement. It's just a suggestion / I want accountability for myself. So if anyone wants to be, hold me accountable. 2 things. One, I want to do Beat Your Best Until Summit. So that would be May, all of May and all of June. I want to beat my best Success Club numbers. I want to beat my best in my nutrition. I want to do like my best in my workouts, like all that stuff. And so I'm going to fill out the Success Club tracker every week. And if anybody wants to do that, then we can like I don't know, figure out how to email or share them or whatever. And the Success Club tracker is in our team page on Facebook. It's in the online office, or I can email it to you if you don't have a copy. But I need to do that because the amount of times I filled out a Success Club tracker in 2019 is a goose egg right now. So last month I was like, well, Kels, you better figure something out because you can't just keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. So that's the first thing. So if you want to be in on that, just let me know at a particular whatever is convenient for you. And the second thing, I just saw this posted. I was going to watch the video in the Champions page, but then I didn't have time. But they posted about it later. There's an extra promo in May, and it's called the Succeed Together promo. How appropriate when I was already thinking about doing this. But I saved the little graphic. So you earn a free t-shirt. Like, I don't really need another t-shirt, but I'm like, ooh, this is kind of like a cool something to shoot for. So there's 2 ways to earn your shirt, but here's the thing. So it's about getting success together as a team. So way number 1 to earn your shirt is if you have never earned a Success Club point ever in coaching, ever, then if you just get 1 point in May, you get the shirt. Pretty easy. I mean, like, pretty straightforward. Not easy, straightforward. Number 2, there's only 2 ways. So that's the first way. Second way, if you have earned a Success Club point in the past, then you have to help 3 of your coaches who have never earned a Success Club point get 1 point. So what that means is if all of your coaches have earned Success Club points, then your goal is to add 3 new coaches to our team and help them all get 1 point in May, or help the people that are already on your team that have never earned a point. So reminder, and I'll post a graphic about this in our Instagram thread and in our team page, but there's multiple ways to earn Success Club points. It's not just Shakeology, your first order of Shakeology Home Direct. It's not just challenge packs. It can be like 3 boxes of beach bars on Home Direct. It can be Performance Line on Home Direct. It can be 3-day refresh on Home Direct. Like, it can be a couple different, there's a bunch of different options. So I'm going to post that graphic up there. I saw Britt posted in her team page the other day, and I swiped the graphic. So kept that. But that was all. That was all I wanted to share. So, and I don't know if you can see this t-shirt. It's not like super cool, but it's all right. I kind of want the guys t-shirt because the girls one has like, I don't wear shirts that have like little cap sleeves.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it looks funny on me. So I'll probably just say that I'm a male and get the male shirt. But they just look like that. You see that? Anyway, I like the boy one better. Maybe I'll just request the male t-shirt. But anyway, so that was 2 things. If you want to do it, let me know. It doesn't have to be right now, but I'm going to do it, and I don't want to quit on myself. So accountability would be nice. Anyone have anything else before we go tonight? No, I will end this recording.